Hey everybody, it's Stacie Duffy here, your Denver Metro real estate resource. And I wanted to talk about not trying to be the smartest person in the room. When it comes to buying, I'm going to talk about buying because I have some active buyers right now. I have one under contract, just closed a couple last week. I got some other people that are shopping. So I'm kind of in buyer mindset at the moment. And a lot of times buyers want to try to game the system. Or they want to win. They want to feel like they won. Everybody wants to win, right? Nobody wants to pay more than they have to, and they want to be able to brag. I think a lot of people like to brag, like, oh, I got my house for less than list price. I didn't have to bid crazy over or whatever. But there's always, especially first-time buyers or second-time buyers that tend to fit into my clientele scenario of a lot of my clientele are engineers, our tech background, our type A analytical people, a lot of the personality type that thinks, you know what, I know more than the average person and I'm smarter than the average person. So I need to be able to know that I won. Okay. Part of that self-awareness piece that a lot of times doesn't click, winning is getting you to your goal. What is the goal? The goal is having a house to live that checks your criteria, is a short drive to work, that you love, that meets your family's needs on the time frame, whatever, right? The goal is to get that. If you win or have a perk or don't have to compete or whatever, great. Little bonus in the situation. Don't let ego surpass or override your end goal. So, and what happens, and I'll give you scenarios, but what usually happens is people, especially in a market shift or something like that, they have to know more than everybody else and they have to feel like they had a leg up. So when you try to game the system, I mean, don't get me wrong, I am all for it because I am one of those types of people when it comes to understanding the nuances of the market and using that strategically to our advantage. But I also tactically use those to our advantage while strategically still making sure we're on our goal, on our path to accomplish our goal. Because you got to have the big picture in mind. Don't get stuck down in the weeds and the nitty gritty because then you get lost and you never get where you want to go. So I understanding those nuances and strategy and all of those fun things. I love that part of my job. And my buyers love that about me. I had some of my buyers this week that told me, we want to leverage our Stacie because we realize that is an asset and we want to use that to our advantage as much as we can. And I was just like, oh my God, can you put that on a card so I can put it on my website? It made me feel so good. But, because I am happy, a lot of my clients love that about me and how I conduct business and how I give them a strategic advantage in accomplishing a lot of those goals, right? However, when buyers try to game the system, especially in a market shift, it is really, the game changes so quickly, which is why I shoot videos all the time, because the market changes so quickly and you have to understand enough of what is currently changing and what that particular house, that particular listing agent and seller and that scenario, there's so many intricate pieces to that the typical consumer, one, doesn't have enough information or context to be able to do that. That's my job. That's why that's why people hire me to help them with this, because that is what I do, right? But you also end up screwing yourself and burning yourself out in the process. And my example of trying to game the system when the system is constantly changing and the market is constantly changing, game the market. I'll call it that, game the market. So I put in 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to talk about offers over the last couple of weeks, right? So the last, let's say 14 days. I put in an offer for a client that ended up being part of a delayed auction. So I'll link to a video up above and down below. I think I'll post that video first of the delayed auction, right? Where the house has been on the market. There's a price reduction. Everybody thinks oh, the seller's motivated. There's a price reduction. I can get a deal. I don't have to bid against 10 other people. And then 2 or 3 other people have the same idea because, everyone's a genius. And then you just end up in a multiple offer scenario that someone's paying over the list price. So that happened where the house had been on the market for 17 days, no offers. We put in an offer. They get 2 more the same day. Okay. That has happened at one price point. And then at another price point, I'm not even going to go back 3 weeks because then I had tons of more examples at a different price point, but it all covers the same types of scenarios. Another situation is, okay, we put on, what was the first one? We put in an offer on one place and they said, hey, we're going to wait through the weekend, part of the typical weekly auction. This one had actually come back on the market. Different issue on not securing backup offers, different rabbit hole. I'm not going to go there right now because I will probably get so derailed and be so frustrated with it as far as how different agents do their business, but that's their business. But it had come back on the market and they said, hey, we're going to, it's Friday. We're going to wait through Monday for any offers. And we said, okay, that's cool. But you said you would review offers as they came in. My people can't lose the weekend. So if we don't get this, we can't find out on Monday or Tuesday. They need a place to live. We need to be able to offer on a different house. So we're going to set you a short deadline. And I say short, meaning 1 day, 24 hours. I don't do anything less than that because I think it's rude. But we're going to set you a shorter deadline, but we'll make a really, really, really strong offer. We understand why you came back on the market. Those issues will not be a concern for us because our agent is awesome and she knows all of this stuff. And she already knows there's a Federal Pacific panel that has stab block breakers that were recalled voluntarily that many houses have. Anyway, here's all these things that the sellers might be worried about. They will not be a problem, right? We have already addressed these things. It's not going to come back to bite you later because that's just what happened to you. So we put in an offer. They ended up getting 2 or 3 others. And when you're the first offer in, a lot of times you get screwed, you get leveraged. Anyway, my people understand that. That's the route we went. Didn't get that one. So we put another offer a couple days later. We were one of 20 offers on that house. 20. Okay. And then 2 days later, we just put in an offer and we were the only offer. The house had been on the market, I think 10 or 11 days, something were in there. Like it'd been through a couple of weekends. They hadn't done a price drop yet, but we know that they're probably thinking about a price drop, but they want to go through the weekend and see kind of what happens. I figured it would get a delayed auction situation this coming weekend because it was a really nice house for the price. A lot of the money was spent in the right places. And when it came on the market, it was furnished. And now that it was vacant, it actually showed better vacant. Most homes aren't the case that way, but the way that it was furnished prior to, I knew that, man, if this hits the weekend market being vacant, it's going to get scooped up. So we're going to get it on a Wednesday and snag it. And we were the only one. So all of that to say, that is the market condition in the matter of a week and a half to 2 weeks. So when you try to game and play and manipulate to your advantage, that kind of market that is so different between listings, between situations, between what's going on, between leverage, all that kind of stuff, you're probably going to wear yourself out. You're going to lose. That is what we are here for, to help you and to advise you and be your fiduciary on those things. I'm not going to say pay way over list price. If you don't have to, okay? My goal is to get you to your goal and do that to the best of your advantage and within your tolerances and comfort zone as much as I can. But when you try to game the system, game the market, when that market is so wildly varying across price points, across individual listings. I mean, some of these had been estate sales. Some of these had been people that lived in the house for 40 years. Some of these were properties that people lived in less than 5 years and they just had to move. Like, everyone is a different situation. Everyone has different motivations but we've been in this long enough, the ones that have been doing it long enough, to have enough pattern recognition for, hey, this is probably where they're at. This is probably what they're thinking. Here's what you can play to that will work in your favor. And these things are free and these things might cost you money, whatever. So how do we want to leverage those tools? But when you try to play that market just so you can get a deal and win, you're probably going to lose. Like, if that's what you're trying to do as a buyer, if your goal is to pay less than $1,000, is to win and be better than everybody else, you're probably going to lose and you're not going to get to your goal. I haven't had a client like that in a while, but it comes across from time to time where I have people that fall into that bucket. So anyway, just throwing it out there. If you want to be the genius, just to be the genius and prove a point, it might work out in the end, maybe. But that's what we're here for. Use us as a tool, as a resource. That's why you're hiring us to do a job for you and why you should interview multiple agents to find someone that you know, like, and trust to help you with that process, okay? Speaking of, if you're looking to buy or sell here in Denver, I'd love the opportunity for an interview. I love my job. I love to be that resource for people and see if I'm a good fit for you. I'm not a good fit for everybody, but the people that work with me tend to love it. We click, it works, we roll with it, and everybody gets their goal, which is my goal. So feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is on my website. The link for that is down below. And if this was helpful for you or maybe brought up some points that you hadn't thought of, please hit the like button. I would really appreciate that too, because that might help somebody else find it. And if it helps everybody, that's my goal. That and it's free, cheap therapy for me. So bonus. If you need me in another area, let me know. I have an amazing network of people. We're all a little bit different. I like to kind of be that matchmaker for people and find them some options in a different area, especially for people that have had bad experiences, because I don't think you should have that. And having someone that can point you in the right direction to a few options and say, hey, this person has XYZ, this person has this skill set. Maybe you want to talk to them both and see who's going to be a good fit for you. Please reach out to me. I'll ask you some specific information so I can set you up with somebody that's a good fit for you. But I'm happy to help with that. I know what to ask and what questions might help people make a better match. Just because you're not here in Denver doesn't mean I can't help. So feel free to reach out to me. Contact info is on the website for that as well. So thanks so much for the time. Have a great day.